But first, just hours ago, the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office responded to reports of gunfire in the Kelleyland Subdivision of Alexandria. Details are limited, but here's what we know. At 8 p.m., officers responded to reports of gunfire in the Sabine Drive area, but could not locate a suspect or any injuries. But they were able to find a vehicle with a bullet hole in it. Right now, RPSO tells us this investigation is ongoing and is asking for anyone's assistance who may have information.